To some degree, it was left open, but the thing to remember, Patient Time, is the first pick was Lulu that we've seen lane very well into LeBlanc, so it's kind of a blocker until SKT committed on a mid laner.
Really smart stuff from Flashwolf. Peanut actually going to recall as well after make that blue. Actually now bottom line, Wolf in trouble, he'll force the burner. Shona, what's in Flash orders, but can't get the kill now. Betty cutting back on the bangs, he needs a few more autos. Bang, Flash is in, that's first blood for SKT.
Insane amount of aggression already straight up in the 2v2, knowing there were no junglers in the same quadrant. Flashes in for the headshot, does bang, and already a kill in the 2v2.
Now mid lane, Maple actually going to force Faker's flash, does get the chain. Casa was ready to jump on that play.
But level 2 also is counter hit, and all the resources used on Wolf, including flash for an ult that was never going to kill. Casa's bot lane though.
No sums here, so they may have overstayed. Flash forward there, Wolf is going to be the target. There's damage back, Casa finally grabs the trade.
For them to do something here before the 35-minute mark, they need to make things happen in the side lanes.
They got bang! Oh, no, he's backwards, and now Sorta going to root him down. Shot coming out from Bernie. This should be a kill. Flash was with the outplay, forcing the fight, but here's Maple. Now once the Wolf gets the chain down, so much damage. Second chain lands, and Flash was come alive.
See if there's any reaction from SKT. Baker's far away, so for now it looks like they might cede it, but SKT are moving up as 3.
He did it again. No, it's Michael. Has to be a fight. Bang, Aaron again. There's the Drake of it. A Flash was bang though. He's going to get out of Sorta. Tries to root Peanut. Maple round to the side, looking for a monster flank, but Oriana's right behind him. Caster and Betty still getting chased. Baker is going to get Sage United on, but Maple trying to get the damage down as bang. Ace in the hole all the way over. Flash was disengaged, but Maple is in uncharted territory.
Ace in the hole on the wrong target. That was the clone actually that was altered, so no reward there whatsoever. Maple will go on the grand chase and get away.
Flashwolf maybe looking for something here. MMD blast cones over aggressively, trying to posture. Maple in as well. Arrow hits Bang again, and Maple dives through. There's a flash up from MMD, but Faker, 3-man took but not gonna Bang gets exploded by Casa, and that's almost all the damage. Maple is going to move in now. Faker gets hooked by MMD. SKT fighting a 5v4 as best they can. Sorta takes a big chunk of damage. SKT looking to disengage.
That was a ton of damage into Bang right there. Doesn't use a shield, but that's because he thought he was going to be over shielded. The fight continues.
Mooney now caught by MMD, but the Polymorph is going to keep the Nautilus away, but now Hook plants it onto Hooney. Benny laying arrows into the back of Shen. Wolf, this doesn't have any more protection, but Ivan does as he runs back to Peanut. Flashwolves though, what incredible target selection to just get 1 kill.
I mean, he is getting caught out too often with that type of front line. He cannot be hit by those Ash arrows, especially after using his E.
Maple in again. Peanut now going to be the one rooted up. Flash ball, but Maple lands another long-range chain. This goes over into the room of Casa. Flashes instantly. The Flash Wolf out for blood. Peanut dead.
The Flash Wolf's aggression is really getting them advantages. Peanut thought he was safe, but Flash Wolf slipped in, hit that second chain, which was the money one, and now suddenly this game's turned on its head. You can't really force much. They don't have a comp that can force, so even if they're trading down in terms of effectiveness, as we see them actually taken out of mid lane.
Bang again gets stunned up, but the arrows are there. Flash was fighting 2v3, 2v4 with Daisy in the mix as well. Flash was disengaging. Oh, could turn it back around. Faker does get the shockwave on the caster, but that's a cooldown burn as Flash was collapsing. MMD coming in for the right-hand side. Maple is looking for the flank join. He's going to flash it out. Maple getting in there, but there's the death touch on. Bang does take out Sorta. SKT may have just defended Maple. Getting a caught. He spawns the flash to Sorta away, but Faker chasing in. Needs one more order. Gets it now. MMD back with the blast code into SKT. Gonna flush out of the way, but Faker gonna keep chasing. Root call lands from Peanut. MMD, he's tanky, but it's not enough. There's SKT with the team fight.
And listen, that's their way of forcing you. Throw down Daisy in the mid lane, and you force the other team to come to you.
Shut down from Bang.
This fight was so much better from Bang. Had to flash defensively, straight into basically melee range of Akama, took her out, and then the target selection there, much cleaner. And you make that play at 27 minutes, and suddenly, Baron is a real objective.
Flashwolf doesn't want to let them set up. They're teleporting in with the Blanc, trying to get that initiation this time.
Bang ulted up again, but the shield should be able to keep him alive. He's got no other stuns, but Maple trying to do damage on the other side. Wildgrowth burnt on Wolf, but SKT just have too much strength here. MMD fighting in the middle, but Daisy's going to knock him up. There's too much here, so Redemption's going to heal him for a little while longer. Shield isn't enough to keep him alive. Peanut actually gets last hit credit, and now Bang just straightforward with the Lulu playing up.
And unless Flashwolves is splitting SKT up, this 5-man team composition is immensely effective. You can see even with some of the catches and making Wolf ult himself on Lulu, Bang's still full health and pushing forward.
It's also very optimistic to actually choose the time to engage, which, as you say, it's not necessarily the best route to play when the Baron buff is being written by SKT. They already have it, they're already putting it to good use. That's the base broken. And SKT, after so many sidesteps, so much great play from the Flash Wolves, the result looks like it'll still say SKT 1-0.
They're not done, and Maple doesn't have his TP, so SKT are actually going to go for the Nexus turrets here. Carter gets caught out, that's a kill again for Bang. Huni loops forward, tries to find Betty, but Betty's going to kite back. Stand United though, going to keep Bang himself alive, and he's just laying shots into the back. Ace in the whole block by Sword Up Faker, forces a flash with a shockwave. Nexus turret number 2 down, as now the Nexus is exposed, and SKT in one fell swoop may well end this game. Maple polymocked up, dead to Huni, as Huni now get wild growth up so they can finish the rest of the fight. Betty is tickling the tanks in the front line, and SKT just will not be stopped. Sword Up trumped out into oblivion, and that's going to be game 1, SK Telecom.
It was over right when it started for SKT. As soon as they started pushing that mid lane down and committing to it.
But if Faker's taking a champion, what does he take? He already played Orianna into LeBlanc. He loves to show us new picks. Lucian, not this time. It's going to be Cassiopeia.
Oh my goodness. The thing that Faker's doing is he's applying so much threat to Maple that he's never even getting off the second part of his chains.
Maple again, big mini wave, going to try and make something happen here. Gets the chain down, Castle also joining. Stand United going to be moving there as well, but Faker, as he splashes away and finally relinquishes some aggression.
It took 3 people, and Maple will still have to recall just to get Faker's flash.
Negatron Cloak early will need every ounce of combat stat he can get, and Faker is going for that tier. His Casa been fished up there by Huni. Damage coming in, this looks like first blood. Ignite is there, goodbye Casa.
MMG lost control of that top lane. Faker also controlling the mid lane.
And as soon as Huni saw that, it's like, hey, you're dead. You cannot be staying there. Maple though backing onto Faker. Casa here as well, but Faker looking for a 1v2 perhaps. Damage is there. Gets the stun onto Maple. Now Peanut going to make sure to protect his mid laner, so no heroics needed just yet.
Still his barrier as well throughout all of that chaos.
I love that Bang's here as well, just to see if maybe something can be done. Was on a recall as it built for the comes.
Something can be done.
Oh no, he can! On the Maple chain, he's got with that force to fly. Whoops in here as well. It's a party in the mid lane, and Bang gets a second kill.
Yeah, when Faker draws the reinforcements, when you've got the stealth from the Twitch, this can be the answer.
As he does a lot of damage to neutral objectives, no one is leaving their lanes for fear of dying. So an easy pickup there is MMD. Maybe going to get soloed here. Casa in, but the ignite and the dot damage is enough. Huni burns one down. Casa too late.
Well, if the last game looked close for the first 25 minutes, this one looked close for the first 25 seconds, and then Faker started casting spells onto Maple in the mid lane. SKT now winning all across the map.
The scary thing is, if you're G2 or WE as well, I hold the thought.
Time in bottom lane, ulti there from Wolf with the glacial feature. Now Sorta going to get stunned up with the grey health is there. Betty, a little too far away, and now SKT going to chase. Splash from Tom Kench might have been enough as the cast lands in. Good Winter's bite from Wolf. Does hit onto the Tom Kench, but SKT no more kills just yet.
Last year, where of course they lost 4 games in the regular season, as they're looking for a dive again on Maple. It's 2 levels between Maple and Faker.
I mean, this team adapts well in 5 games. They had 5 days and more to try and get something done. And now Peanut and Faker grouped up to try and take it. Tara Flushel, we're going to trade, but the fish could stop it all. Betty eaten up by Sorta, but it actually gets a double knockup as a result. First Tara finally down. Huni just buying a bit of time. He gets taunted by MMD. Damage going to come out. There's the exhaust down. Going to get eaten by the big fish, perhaps. But Huni leaping away and clears the way as a result. Still moving through. Nimble fighter helping as he cuts through the minion wave. Huni on a killing spree. Varus taking too many minions, and Huni is going to try and execute. No, shut down barely. Timer not there.
And he is becoming that complete player. And when you're a complete player on SKT, you're a winner.
Well, it looks like someone snuck in. It is Caster into the top side. Taunt's going to land off the Huni, but I'm not sure they've got enough damage. Fish does go wide there, so now he's going to have to Urchin strike back to that minion. Flash forward from Caster. Ulti is going to miss despite the cancel. Playable Trickster away. One in the front. Stand United just to be sure. Caster gets the kill.
Getting Stand United there is an accomplishment in itself, but also gets
he can't go bot lane
aggressive.
now. He can't go bot lane because he doesn't have the Stand United, so Shen's out of position.
Yeah, you better flash Maple. Faker spots the LeBlanc, and Maple respectfully moves away. 3 turrets now for SKT as they take the tier 2 in the bottom. A trade for Flushels as they take their first turret of the game.
SKT actually pretty happy to keep this map spread out. When you see the Vamp Scepter on Huni, you know there's no way he's going for a team fight biz right here. He's really just trying to dominate that 1v1 versus Shen.
Well, it looks like they're going to chase Maple, who's on the wrong side of the map. Dashes over to the wall, might be looking for an execute at this point. Needs to make it all the way to the fountain laser without getting tagged. Maple.
One spell.
Peanuts is lining up the last one. He's trying to check. Oh, he finally got hit. Maple gives it up. He's like, all right, I'll fight you. Peanuts like, yep, I'll grab that one.
The Fizz shows up and he's forced out. Now they have those Globers and they try and make something happen.
This is an insanely hard force from Flash Rolls. Wolf's going to get chained up there. Maple going to follow on through. Electro Pitcher hops out. Might be enough to disengage it, but the damage still flowing in as SKT commit.
They want to turn it around.
Faker also here. Hooney needs to land a big fish to start it off. He's going to miss it. No fight started by either.
It's still odd numbers for SKT, but they have that giant gold lead, so they're trying to cut Flash Wolves off.
I mean, they're outnumbered, but it doesn't really feel like it. Hooney going to cut them off. Ignites on the Betty against the grass prop. Playable tricks as that. Ulti lands onto Faker, but Faker who's going to stand and deliver. Peanut also there to try and get some front line down. The damage is immense, but it's not nearly enough. Flash Wolves just too far behind, seeing where Flash Wolves are. Kaza, miasma up. Winter's Bite's going to miss. Faker just going to chase forward, force the gobble from Sword Art. Faker not done. But Seraph's going to get chained up by Maple, but Maple does pitiful damage at this point.
And that's Faker understanding vision as well as his own strength. He knows he's not going to get turned around on because 4 members of his team were missing, but it was just him and Wolf that were walking into the entire Flash Wolves team. They pushed him back. Look at this Baron drop.
Wolf's just going to zone them out of the way. The rest of the team finished it already dead before Flash Wolves get anywhere close. And now SKT going to leap into action. Kasa, ulti's away. Faker Flash, ulti just for the souls. Betty gets a nice chain out, but Peter prompts the Ragnarok, goes straight into Betty as Wolf exhausts the Varus, and Maple just trying to keep them down. MMD will be the sacrifice. Faker grabs his first kill of this game.
And this is why SKT has low kill participation percentages. Watch Uni, he's winning the game down in the bottom lane, taking that inhibitor. Faker gets his first kill of 6 while being the sole carry. They play the map.
But I'm still disappointed, guys. I really wanted to see Faker end this game 0-0-0 and pick up an MVP. Make me smile as an analyst, but picks up the scoreline. Scoreline ruined now. Sorry, Faker.
Well, sorta. Good pluck again. Manages to prevent his teammate from dying. Hooney, who is running a rampage here. 1v3 on this inhibitor. Might just try and take it in with him, but Betty's going to be the first target. Ignite is down. Betty burns the flash. Hooney does not care. Gets a 1v3 kill. Might get out or get another kill, but SKT, the rest of them now, a call to arms to reinforce. Casted it to Wolfity. Gets him with a Q. Sorta just melts under all the damage, and Faker leaps towards the fountain to barely miss getting Maple.
We have seen some crazy games this tournament. We have seen Peanut pick up 14 kills in 11 minutes, and still this game surprises me the most. Faker's performance, outstanding. They're looking to dive the fountain, you know, whatever, and end the game.
I mean, the first game ended pretty quickly. This one's going to be even faster. SKT going to take down yet another Nexus and push Flash Wolves to the limit.
Faker was so close to turning that around on Lucian, and then he got styled on by Xie's Lucian for the rest of the game, so he wants a do-over on that one.
Marks the red and then goes in. His pin actually with a level 2 then Maple already dashed in. Faker just walking forward. Now I think Maple knows what's up. Damage area is going to be forced to flash and heal to get out.
Worth noting also, we didn't mention in Champions League, it is Karsa's first ever competitive game on Ivern. So both he and Peanut in this tournament, fitness tournament, have picked it up. And speaking of Karsa,
now Karsa looking for a hit, but Faker does have the subs. Already flashes out of the way, but
they have the angle on him.
Faker just has to keep running. Bot lane's pushing. That's bad news.
Ezreal or Karma could collapse onto Faker. He is dead.
Maple wants to try and take it down, but Faker's going to buy as much time as he can. Faker still has a barrier. Might just hold a root collar land, and first blood goes to Maple.
Oh, we've seen this story before. Mid lane Lucian gets the first blood. Doesn't have Ignite this time, but that is not what Faker wanted for the return game from Karsa.
I mean, if you want a champion that can get a kill on Orianna or on Faker pre-6, seems like Lucian's the champion for you, given that we saw this multiple times in the last series.
Well, then aggression once more, though. Betty and Sword Art love to play up. Bang, forced him in the heel. Exhaust already done. As now they turn their attention on the Wolf. He's ignited down. The Thunderlord procced him from the Karma, but Wolf is barely going to live through the onslaught.
I feel like the game will be largely judged on vision. You know, vision is the big factor. We talked about the Flash Wolves did have the advantage on very much in history as trading continues in bot lane. You imagine they're going to disengage, but here we go.
A little support or combo, but Betty tunked out on the other side. Castle is actually joined in now. Wolf going to get rooted and be forced to flash. Root Caller goes a little wide, dashes to a minion. I think he's trying to get out of the way, but Castle taking too much damage. Bang gets a kill in a 2v3. Peanut going to join the party. Betty zooms out of the way. He's got his flash, forced to burn it there, but now Sorta took damage on the back end. No die from Peanut, but so much force.
Certainly has been more about the counter ganking for Peanut. He has had plenty of kills, but not necessarily first blood.
Botlane just keeps fighting though. Bang a Wolf in another 2v2. Exhaust is down. Bang getting chunked, but they need to get a little further forward. Bang taking a little too much damage. Tries to launch out of the way, but Betty! Oh my god! Missing shot! Bang! Dodging it, the heal is up! Cost gets down and Betty not gonna get it! Bang!
The outplay right there by Bang and Wolf.
Peanut to put the exclamation point as well. And Bashwell's game plan in Game 1 and Game 3 was to take the fights. You're taking fights against a double World Championship bot lane. And once again, outplayed for Betty and Sword Art to win. He flashes out though, and think of how much damage he loses in the 3 seconds or so around the crush.
Exactly, the fatal damage could have come through in there. Karsa.
He's getting burned down, already dies. Faker actually gets the kill. Shockwave gonna miss, that's a rare one, but MMD in there, Peanut also invading. All the camps are getting marked, but they'll get taken soon.
Going back to that bottom lane 2v2, this is one of the problems about playing against SKT is not only do they have the reputation of this amazing team, they're also the best mechanical players, so even in the individual moments, they will be able to outplay you.
Peanut got ulti, so Maple maybe not gonna live. Does have summoners, gets the culling back down. Peanut answers with his own ultimate. Just to get Maple out of the way, does disengage successfully.
Things really do ramp up. Huni opening up on Karsa, and with Faker as backup, he's happy to go in.
Yeah, giving Karsa no way out after he flashed directly over.
Oh, that E landed. MMD, though, gets the Windsor ball back.
And even with that mid lane first blood coming through, that's about all that has happened. Now Karsa getting jumped on.
Bang, another ambush started up. Recall is going to land for the stun. Huni, though, keeping around for a kill. Bang's going to get another one.
This is just SKT adding insult to injury right there. They just need to get enough pressure to get wards behind people and then use angles. Notice how Bang staying camouflaged on the side of the lane, waiting for Betty to push up. Again, forcing the arcane shift back. They manufacture fights.
Maple back in, but Faker here with the barrier flash and the shockwave. Maple gonna flash it. Really wants to go in, but Peanut into defend already. He'll get burnt. Peanut, huge damage and Faker shuts it down with a dissonance.
They could also be waiting for their soul lanes to hit level 11 because they hit such tremendous power spikes when compared to what the Galio and Lucian hit at level 11.
Flashes forward, Wild in there. Goodbye, Maple. There's your initiation, Jet.
Hey, we talked about getting next to someone in Lulu Ulting. That's one way. Oh my goodness.
He smelled blood. You know, he had the Ivern game. He's working out his frustrations, flashing into melee range of an Orianna.
I think Bang's going to turn it maybe back around. Shields a good redemption down to his counter, actually. That was his redemption that maybe got it done, but another flash from Bang. Betty desperately trying to finalize a kill, but no case will be closed today. Bang will escape with his gold, and there's Faker. First turret gold solo. I mean, it's 5,000 gold up now for SKT. It's going to be 6 soon as this turret falls in the bottom side. And it's strange to watch them play sometimes. It doesn't always look like much, but somehow they're ridiculously far ahead. Bang again onto Betty, getting aggressive. Venom cast goes in. Pig's helping out. Redemption might have been enough to save him. Not in range for the Contaminate, so Betty lives this time. Bang back on there, but he's frontlining with the wild growth on him. As Bang bursts the ultimate. Maple though. Oh, the calling. He's not going to get... Oh, not going to get blocked as Wolf takes a lot of damage on the other side. Bang, looking to get sniped, but Betty does take a Wolf now. Bang going out, flash roll, signs of life, finally.
All the time, a Rumble is pushing, but that's a play that at least gets some confidence into the flash rolls. This time, Bang doesn't have summoners up. He used them for the baits in the previous trade. Peanut.
Peanut at it again, looking to try and make himself the MVP. Zeus ball with the help of Faker, ultimate at the ready. Maple burns his heel to escape. Peanut is a merciful god today.
This game heating up though. MMD trying to teleport in behind Faker and Peanut. They didn't see it, so the Galio will come as a surprise.
Custer and Maple burning damage onto the tower, but here's MMD, flashed on, finds 2. There's the Justice plus knocks up Peanut, great all from Huni. Galio also back on the Custer to protect him. Huni, just too much pressure on his own.
Yeah, MMD didn't have any more initiation. The ult onto Custer allowed him to tank the equalizer for the longest time, so actually, even though it looked comical was the right move, here's Huni though.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Huni aggressive TP down towards Betty. Got Wolf behind him as well. Betty already going to get taken down. Elan's over the top, and Wolf going to get himself a kill in the game. Betty turned into a critter. Betty autos the trinket, and Wolf.
That was like one of those games where you're behind a counter and trying to chase someone, but unfortunately for Betty, he couldn't play that arcane shift game with Huni since Wolf was the second player who came and just corralled him. Peanut's usually not next to him, but when you do that, the rest of SKT knows exactly how to play around it.
Bang at it again. Maple gonna get ulted up as Bang just turns it on. Damage is more than enough.
To take out SKTs is so little initiation. Speaking of initiation,
Two-man shockwave. Huni flashes over. Walker over the top of it. Then it's gonna go straight forward. Huni does go down in the struggle. For the tower, they will get MMD flashes forward, looking for a follow-up, but has to get up pretty quickly.
Basically, SKT is getting access to every CS.
Keeps happening.
Yep, Whimsy's on him.
Betty's the next one. He's got flash. Bang does have his ultimate again. Galio ulti is enough to keep him alive with a bit of help from Ivan Shields, but Okay, what's his cooldown right now? 80 seconds? He's back at it again in about a minute.
Como holds grudges too. He's coming for you now. You didn't list him in the conscience, so we'll see.
Well, Bang turning on to MMD, which is a rare sight as the support and bot laner trying to solo a tank. Casa redeems back up. Faker did burn his ultimate for that play, but not too much investment. Flash was just so far removed from this series at this stage.
I got some sick items over here. What you gonna do? He doesn't have to respect anything on the side of Flash.
Casa, Shockwave back in his Maple, though maybe gonna try and turn it back. Barriers up for Faker, does have his flash, barely missed the ultimate. Maple flashed in with the Wild Growth, gonna save him. Wolf there for his team.
Wolf in the clutch, and here's Bang!
Oh, now Bang gonna play the counter situation, almost gets one down, opens up on a Sword Art, but Sword Art stays safe. Bang, though, holds onto his ultimate, and Huni has got the wave all the way to the in-hit turret.
We've seen them pick up their first Baron and end the game within 3 minutes in their last 2 matches. I don't see why this game would be any different.
I mean, Betty can't be standing up. He's got no other choices. Flash contaminate from Bang, hoping for something there.
Well, that was pretty bad. Optimistic isn't the right word. That was just bad. There was no way. With through heal, he would get the kill, unless Betty just forgot to heal.
Which has happened in the past. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, betting on players forgetting to heal.
Yeah, it's not an SKT style.
Well, they'll just take the Baron instead. They got more than enough damage for this on Casa with a smite. Might make it happen. It's already too late, though. Polymorph just for good measure. And SKT up 10,000 plus gold with a Baron. I've seen this before.
I'm sure SKT is a little bit more trying to get camps and other things against the flow of the game. But with SKT ahead, there's our Nexus turret. Sorry, inhibitor turret.
Good bold ultimate from Betty. Being immobile for a second with Faker right there, but they have to clear the waves. Have to do something. Shockwave gonna threaten, MMD gonna look for a taunt, gets 3 people. Maple gonna turn it back around, Faker low, but he doesn't go down yet with the shields. MMD, ulti's back on the Maple, but the Shockwave's gonna seal MMD's fate. Huni diving into the backline, trying to take out Casa as Pino grabs a double there with Maple going down. SKT gonna look to end it all.
That's both solo laners down for Flash Wolves. We talked about that timer. They're right on time.
Timer looking good so far, and SKT gonna look for this first Nexus turret. Second in a fall pretty soon here as they TB back in with Huni. Daisy mounting his back opens up, and the swell of pressure has built into a wave that looks, the force of which looks to clear Flash Wolves straight into. They will sweep the Flash Wolves, they will defend their MSI championship, and they will do what they have always done, achieve victory.
Guys, I'm joined by a very happy and chipper Huni after SKT beat Flash Wolves 3-0, and it was a very, very dominating 3 games. And because of your history, of the history of SKT with the Flash Wolves, many people had thought maybe it'd be a bit more difficult. But why do you think in this best of 5 it went so smooth?
First of all, during the scrim, there was a lot of problem for us, and then we learned actually really a lot from other team, which is like could be WE, like G2, and we adapted really fast during the MSI, because a lot of people says in just during MSI there's a lot of and really fast the meta shift, and then I think SKT is just really good at adapting the meta, so that's why SKT is really strong at best of 5. So that's all. That's our results.
Yeah, that was also very clear. I love that you talk about the fact that the scrims were a bit difficult. And obviously, you ended the group stage on a kind of a false note that not winning versus WE must have been quite crushing, especially after you were so confident in that interview with me. SKT unbeatable. We are not going to drop a game. So was there a mental change for Huni, or was it still the same?
Still the same, but from the WE and the Flash Wolves, after we lost against them, and then we actually learned a lot, even though it was not Scream, it was on stage, and then we learned actually more than Scream. And we made a lot of mistakes in ourselves, and then we realized we need to play in our side to not make mistake, because enemy team also make a lot of mistake, and then we just trying to catch enemy, though what did they make like mistake, and then we need to fix our like faults. So from there, I think just we made really a clean game today.
Yeah, you guys said a statement today. You're going into the final on a BBL versus G2 or versus WE. Teams with very different styles. So who do you think you're going to face? Who's going to win? And who would you like to face?
As I see, just in group stage, it was WE was quite was stronger than G2. As you guys see the record, because the result, the WE has more win against other team, and their style, their playing style is really stronger. and way more aggressive. So from there, right now, this meta is the laning phase is really most important thing that to lead the Summer's Rift. So from there, I think WE has kind of ahead against G2. But I would like to just against anyone. I don't care. I'm not worried anything.
You're not worried at all, it seems. I do want to ask you about something. The Lucian mid is there. We've seen it. And I don't know how much you know about the Lucian memes that are surrounding Huni and that are still alive in EU and NA. Do you know anything about it, or?
I don't know. Well, did I play Lucian something at all? Yeah. I have zero idea about that. But yeah, I'm actually. It's possible to play. It's fine.
Top lane?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to speak about it with too much, or do you want to play it, Huni?
Yeah, I want to play.
All right. Well, finally, we'll be seeing you in the final. How do you reflect on your time so far in Brazil and in front of the crowd? Do you think you've put up enough of good of a show and good results so far for you personally?
Personally, I think it's really nice places in Brazil, and then I come back in MSI. It's really awesome, and then I really want to win MSI battling. So we will see on the finals. See you.
Yeah, we will see. Maybe talk to you then. Thank you very much, Huni. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Shocks. With their victory, SKT have earned their spot in the finals on Sunday, and they'll face the winner of tomorrow's match as the LPL's Team WE take to the stage versus EU's G2 Esports. And this is where I want to go back to Huni and what he said there in that interview. He's calling for WE being the stronger of the two teams, both based on record, but also on their style of play, saying that he thinks the way that they've approached at least the group stages, being a little bit more aggressive and having stronger control of the lanes, will be what nets them the victory in that best of 5.
It will definitely be a nice contrast. I don't think we can say that G2 has played an aggressive early game at all, and WE definitely has done exactly that. And then G2 excelled in late game. Quite ironic, actually, since WE traditionally in the LPL was more of a G2 style team.
Flash Wolves were 4-2 against them coming into this. Some people were whispering, oh, maybe Flash Wolves is SKT's kryptonite. No, they are not They are not the kryptonite for SKT here. Total dominance in a 3-0.
David versus Goliath is so often the case when you take to the Rift against SK Telecom T1, and it feels like every tournament, every LCK match day, you need to anoint a new David because Goliath keeps rolling through every contender. Now only the Afrika Freaks, a team that obviously has never gone to an international event, holds a positive win rate against SKT. They're +2, and guess what? LCK Summer's coming soon. They can turn that around as well.
And every international tournament inevitably turns into SKT versus the field. Everyone has their best shot at SKT, and time again, they seem to come up short. That one MSI back in 2015, the last time we have seen them losing here internationally, and they move on to the finals in style.
Well, you can see smiles there on Faker. I believe he's being collected for some chats after the game, but a round of applause, thundering applause at that from the crowd here in Brazil, and it's all deserved.
And it's moments like these where you have to really feel for the players on SKT who haven't had that success before. This will be Huni's first international tournament final, so that is definitely a step forward for him, vindicating him going back to Korea, not necessarily chasing or focusing on other factors like life experience and money potentially, going to SKT to win, big success. Peanut jumping onto SKT against kind of our expectations. Everyone was like, all right, who's the best pathing jungler available to set up Faker? They went the opposite way. They went for the best mechanics in both roles. And then you get games like these three where you're like, well, when it works, beautiful.
Well, certainly looking amazing as always, but we're going to hand it off to our analyst to break down that 3-0 series.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. 4-2 in favor of Flash Wolves was the way that we came into this series. 5-4 in favor of SKT, rather, is the way that we exit. A swift 3-0 to move on to the finals. Again, you two called it. Had a lot of confidence in SKT's ability once we get to those best of 5s and bracket stage. Seems like they had Flash Wolves' number across the board.
What a fantastic performance. I think G2 will be very scared to face off against them in the final.
Yeah, I mean, that's some wishful thinking there, Cravo. But, I mean, they really were outclassed, right? Like, let's be honest here. SKT across the board, I think they look extremely strong. You know, they look versatile. They showed, once again, protect the AD carry composition, which they hadn't really been playing. So I think that it's such an impressive showing from them.
Absolutely. We'll get a word with Huni, too, in just a couple of minutes. Before we do so, I want to go back to your point around variance, what you brought up here going into Game 3, and how it kind of, you know, supports this point you're making here, Azale, where outclassed across the board, it almost seems like you have to rely on the day to just be performing better. And today, Faker stepped up, had a much better performance than he had during the group stage, and that pretty much puts the kibosh on any chance here for the Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked a lot about on the desk how we were expecting them to try to draft early aggressive, and you know, a lot of people online are talking about this as well. But you have to keep in mind that they may have run these in scrims and failed time and time and time again, and that's often why you see teams run these other drafts and be like, it doesn't really make sense. Why aren't they playing Elise? Well, they may have gone 0-10 against them in scrims.
I mean, this comp in the end was actually pretty good. I liked it. I think Ivern with Lucian is something Kobe has talked about doing this tournament. You can give Lucian the buffs, you know, through Ivern as well. You try and snowball the mid lane with this AD carry, and you try and use that to kind of get an advantage, and then also have like late game team fighting with double AD carry basically. Right. I think the comp made sense. It's just,
is Karsa the guy you want on Ivern, though? Your best player?
Yeah, that's the problem. There's definitely a question there. To be fair, though, they tried something different, right? Which is what we asked them to do. You know, kind of running a similar comp games 1 and 2. Here, they try a different look. And also, hey, Karsa managed to get the first blood on Delusion with a very interesting Ivern.
Clearly Ivern God, you know.
Yeah, very much an Ivern God with the zoning flash. It works out for him. But again, that kill was not enough. We talk about needing large early game advantages to push against SKT. That wasn't enough. We're going to take a look at one replay, our only replay for this game, Acer-worthy replay of the bot lane here for SKT. But we're going to give it to you with Flash Wolves' perspective.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where Flash Wolves' bot lane just plays a little bit better. Game 1 similar as well. They actually get a kill here because you'll see Betty move forward. He has to guess where Bang is. Guesses wrong, then the shield comes out, then there's another incident, whether it was a heal or something, and suddenly this gets turned around, but like Bang should be dead there. If that ward comes out earlier, you know you're playing versus a guy who's going to walk into the brush. If you play that a little bit better in a lot of these situations, then suddenly Flash Wolves' bot lane starts actually winning.
Start getting some kills. Obviously, Graves was still on the way down to turn it around, and I'm sure Wolf would have picked up a kill, but
Look at that goal grab.
I mean, it's been every game.
Pretty much a straight 45-degree line there, shooting up from the beginning, you know, from that 8-minute mark.
Last game was the same as well, you know, just get an early advantage and snowball. But I want to go back to your point, Azale, about, you know, Karsa on Ivern, and I think that's a really interesting thing and a very hard thing when you're playing against SKT, because you want to be able to play like every kind of style in the meta. Sometimes that involves your star player being on a supportive pick like Ivern. The problem is most teams in the world don't have like star players in every role, so they can't actually do that. They can't really rely on Karsa on the supportive champion. SKT is like Peanut support, sure, Huni carries, Faker carries, Bang carries, Wolf carries, it doesn't matter. Anyone can play a tank or support on that team, and someone else will step up.
Yeah, but do you want Karsa buffing up Betty? Is that your
exactly?
guy?
Flash Wolves can't actually, you know, do
one
the same.
Q off. If he lands that Q.
Yeah, but I mean, credit to the SKT bot lane for playing it that well. I think so many Twitches would have just been flashing away towards their turret, just trying to retreat towards the grave, perhaps, something like that. But he recognizes there's not vision in the brush, flashes in there, and those little plays are often what makes the difference, because, you know, it was another game as well where Wolf is barely living, and they don't barely win these fights by mistake.